weekend. And Carol and I just want to thank you for hosting us a wonderful dinner Friday night and a wonderful cake. And thank you for the monetary gift that you gave to us. Carol and I are so very grateful. And we want to know, Carol and I, we love y'all. And we're so honored to be your pastor. And right now, they told me the other day, they said, we don't want you to preach Sunday. We've got a special speaker. We want to come. And they chose Brother Ken Ogden, and we love Ken and Kathy. And Ken is studying to get his license, and he's doing a great job. And I'm trying to help him out all I can. And I appreciate you helping Ken and letting him preach and listen to him. And Brother Ken's going to come and bring the word this morning. And Sister Judy is going to get the young kids together. And the little ones that want to go to children's church, you can be dismissed at this time. And Judy's going to teach. Kathy's going to help. And we appreciate Judy and her ministry there. But I'll tell you, we love Brother Ken. I'll tell you, he's been a great help here. We love this man. And he's going to come and preach for us. Won't you give him a hand this morning?
Morning. Pastor Appreciation Weekend. Pastor Appreciation. What is a pastor? Where does that word come from? That word is Latin for shepherd. Scott is the shepherd of this church. Somebody asked me one time, he said, what makes a good shepherd? What makes a good pastor? And asking yourself those questions sometime, you can say, well, what does make a good pastor? This is just before I get into, I'm going to do this before I get into my message. Just you get a 2-for-1. But really, what does make a good pastor? If somebody asks you, why do you feel like Scott is a good shepherd? How would you answer that? Well, there's some questions that you can ask yourself as to what makes him a good shepherd. One of those questions is, how does he treat his wife in public and at home? Well, my wife is good friends with Carol, and she has never said anything contradictory to the way he treats her in public as the way he treats her at home. And I believe truly in my heart that he honors her at home the same way he honors her in public. So I think on that aspect, he's a good pastor. What is his wife like? Because she's as much part of his ministry as he is. Does she go about her daily task cheerfully? Is she pleasant? And she is. I've never seen her be cross with anyone. I've never seen her be ugly to anybody. And I think she's a good pastor's wife. Is he a man full of patience and self-control on a day-to-day basis? I believe he is. I've never seen Scott out of control, and I've been around him a lot. Now I know we all make mistakes. Sometimes we get angry, but as to be totally honest with you, I've never seen him angry. I'm sure he gets that way from time to time, but I've never seen him. He may do that when he's alone or when no one else is around. Does he love the people of the church? And I truly believe he loves everybody in this church. I believe that. Boy, this one's the hard one. And this one is the difficult one for the pastor. Does he hold his people accountable? And boy, that's a hard thing to do. If you've got people that's donating their time, they're working for you for nothing, they're working for God, but they're under Scott, and Scott is essentially responsible for what we do in the church. If I'm a Sunday school teacher, if I'm a youth pastor, anything that I do, if I'm men's ministry, women's ministry, anything that I do in the church, he's ultimately responsible for that, and he also has to make me accountable. If I happen to make a mistake, boy, this is a hard thing to do. He has to go to that person that's donating their time freely and pull them aside, and he may have to give them some discipline. You know, you messed up, you made a mistake, you know, maybe he's seen somebody in a place that they shouldn't be, or doing something that they shouldn't do. If he truly loves his people, which I believe he does, he has to pull that person aside, and he has to be the shepherd. And he has to give them one-to-one counseling. But that's what he's here for. And you know, when he does that, a lot of times people will get angry. But we are to praise God that we have a man that loves you enough to pull you aside and say, look, you've made a mistake, or you know, maybe we shouldn't do this. Let's take a different route. You know, is our actions glorifying God? And that's what he has to watch for when he watches his congregation, because he's the shepherd. He stands between us and the wolves. As a shepherd, he stands between us and the wolves. And that is probably the hardest thing to do as a pastor. And I don't know that God has called me to take a church, but that scares me to death. When you have people that you love and that are under you, and you're bringing them into maturity with Christ, and you have to go to them and give them one-to-one correction. That is hard to do. And I know that some pastors, now they get political somewhat, and they will get up in their sermon if they know something that's going on with somebody in their congregation, and they'll take that Bible and they'll beat the goat on the head. No. As a shepherd, he takes that sheep aside and he speaks to them, because that's what he does as a shepherd. And as leadership, and someone said one time, they said the best kind of leadership produces fellowship. And I think that's a strong statement, and I believe that's the kind of leadership that Scott possesses, and that's the kind of leadership that he demonstrates. And finally, a pastor has got to be gifted by God. I think a pastor has to be spiritually gifted by God to do what he's called to be a shepherd. Because Ephesians 4:11 says, and it was he who gave some to be apostles, some to be prophets, some to be evangelists, and some to be pastors and teachers. And that is a gift. And I truly think that Scott and his wife have been gifted to be your pastors. And I give you Scott Stewart, would you please stand, and let's give God a hand clap. All right. Well, since we're on the subject of shepherds, I thought that's going to be a good thing to give you a message on this morning. The word shepherd is used in the Bible 42 times. The word sheep is used 182 times. And the word flock is used 90 times. So there is a lot about the flock and sheep and the shepherd that's in the Bible. We have to stop and think about when this was wrote, everything that comes to us, we have to be able to relate it to something else, to really totally understand it. And